Hi there, this is Mark. Again, I'm actually doing my reading from The Golden Present. This is a daily inspirational readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda here in Redwood City, just moments after the other reading. And I'm catching myself up. So today's July 13th, and the topic for this reading today is a perfect act. No action is undesirable as long as it produces a beneficial result to all concerned, including you. You may call that a perfect act. The definition of a perfect act is one that neither hurts you nor hurts anyone else. At the same time, it should bring at least some benefit to somebody. Sometimes, due to past life experiences or lack of proper training, the mind would want to do things that are not beneficial. Gently direct the mind, educate it. That is yoga. The very purpose of all your spiritual practices is to learn how to direct your thoughts and actions for a good purpose. That's a perfect act. I'm always grateful when the readings give more expression to what yoga is. When I started practicing back in 2000, the year 2000, yoga was just a physical practice. It was a way to try to become more flexible, to strengthen my body, and really to make it more trained for dance, sort of to give it more information so that I could bring that into my dancing back in those years. I had had some injuries, and I thought it could also be somewhat therapeutic in that regard. But that's as much as I understood it to offer. And at the time, that's all I really was seeking, that I realized I was seeking. Over time, and with the guidance of my teacher, Sandra Coteen, way back then, thank you for helping me build a practice at that time, to build a home practice and giving me guidance on what that meant. And that really made the difference, starting to do something on a daily basis. And she helped me make it very doable. I thought I had to do this 90-minute practice every day and meditate for an hour every day, but she gave me these options of how I could do shorter practices at times and what would that look like, and then how I could, mix in longer practices at times. And it was very much focused on the physical practice. That's how she guided me in the initial training and teachings, but eventually it started to sink in. She would give messages during class. And one of the big ones I remember her saying often was, remove the ambition from your practice. And I never even heard it for probably a year. And then it was another year that I was like, how do you do that? And then over really more recent years, I'd even say that started to make some sense to me. And it was a way to find the flow within myself where I'm not motivated so strongly by the ego's perfectionist mind, as much as I'm working to be motivated by the flow of a greater purpose, the flow of being aligned with the body, mind, spirit's expression in the world, how I can coexist and co-relate, versus to be motivated for this self-seeking action in my practice, just to try to do tricks with the body for the sake of that, just to be like, wow, cool, I can do certain things. What I began to learn is that still had some importance. It's still fun to learn how to train the body, but for the purpose of helping it train the mind, and for the purpose of that, to help me learn how to build a stronger character by being able to choose actions from a more established place in me, that's not motivated from ambition, but motivated more from the sense of service and less from self-seeking. So this idea of a perfect act has also been a very motivating mantra, really, to think about what that means, how it can be an action that's done where it brings benefit to at least one person and harm to no one. And it's interesting, in my class this morning afterwards, we got into this topic, for some reason, this kind of moral discussion about, is it ever okay to harm someone? And in this particular conversation, we even got to talking about, is it okay to actually take someone's life? And in that conversation, there is this Buddhist story that's often used as a reference. If there was this person who was, that was going to kill 100 innocent people, and there was a master gunsman who was able to, take a clear shot at that person who was going to kill innocent people, would that be okay to do? And what I've learned in these scriptures and teachings is that yes, to be able to save that many people, that element of that causing of harm would bring balance. The other discussion we had was, what if you had to choose between saving the lives of 20 people by taking the life of one innocent person? And is it better for quantity-wise to save one rather than having 20 die versus just killing one to save 20 lives? And that one I didn't have the answer, because there's in my mind, and with what this is saying this morning, you're bringing harm to an innocent person that yes would help benefit all those other people, but to bring harm to an innocent person, to me, I'm not sure that would fit in with the previous teaching. And it might, to me, bring in the idea of karma, recognizing there is this law of cause and effect that's really beyond our intellect and our understanding. And I look at little examples where I think I know why something should happen, and then something happens the opposite way, and I'll learn later, oh, now I get it. How often does that happen with us, that we think we're so absolutely right in a situation, and then later we realize, oh, actually, I was wrong. Well, those kind of examples for me help me to not be able to jump to conclusions on the answers like this about why I think I should know what's right and wrong. And we can see, how do we apply this in, again, personal life and then in a large scale, especially with what's going on in our world today, where we see a lot of imperfect acts, and rather than judge those and criticize those, can we work more on our own perfect acts? And I believe it's through that we'll start to have a clearer understanding of what is the right next step. What can we truly do that's going to help bring benefit to at least one other person and harm to no one. And he says here, sometimes due to past life experiences or lack of proper training, the mind would want you to do things that are not beneficial. And so it's, maybe not everyone believes in that past lives or karma, but even just not thinking of past lives, but earlier in our own lives where we may have done things that weren't as conscious or conscientious as they are today, there's some balancing out. I do believe that, and even in our own current life. So maybe that'll help motivate all of us to think a little differently about our current actions and how, doing those kind of things helps to clear our minds. So, all right, that's what I'm going to share for today, July 13th. Thanks for watching this. I hope this was useful, and another beautiful clear blue sky here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.